The debut album of the Dutch group EKSEPTION, released in 1969, represents a bold and innovative landmark in the music scene of the time, promoting a vibrant and direct encounter between jazz and classical music. Led by the talented keyboardist and arranger Rick van der Linden, EKSEPTION shared with Keith Emerson's The Nice the ambition of merging the grandeur of classical music with the contagious energy of rock. However, while Emerson tended towards a more bombastic and theatrical interpretation, EKSEPTION injected a sense of jazzy improvisation and refined humor into their adaptations, creating a singular and refreshing sound. The comparison with the Nice is inevitable, but essentially superficial. Both groups shared the basic premise of transposing classical works into a rock context, but the execution was distinctly different. Emerson, with his pyrotechnic virtuosity and exuberant stage presence, transformed classical music into a grandiose spectacle, full of quotations and references. EKSEPTION, although technically impeccable, prioritized fluidity and improvisation, allowing elements of jazz to infiltrate their interpretations. The album, self-titled EKSEPTION, serves as a sonic manifesto of the group's intentions. The opening track, a vibrant and reimagined interpretation of Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, sets the tone for the album, demonstrating EKSEPTION's ability to take a consecrated classic and transform it into something new and exciting. The brass section, one of the group's strengths, shines intensely, adding a layer of sophistication and power to the composition. The choice of the Fifth Symphony as a calling card is particularly significant. Beethoven's work, a pillar of Western music, is instantly recognizable, allowing EKSEPTION to establish an immediate connection with the listener. However, instead of simply replicating the original piece, the group subverts it, adding syncopated rhythms, jazzy improvisations, and exuberant instrumentation, creating a simultaneously familiar and surprising listening experience. The audacity of this approach demonstrates EKSEPTION's confidence in its own vision and its determination to challenge the audience's expectations. EKSEPTION's boldness extends to their reinterpretation of Dharma for One, originally by Jethro Tull. The track is driven by virtuous wind solos and the inventive drumming of Peter Delaev, who demonstrates skillful technique and an implacable sense of rhythm. The inclusion of Dharma for One on the album is a nod to the British progressive rock scene, of which Jethro Tull was an exponent. However, EKSEPTION doesn't simply copy the original version. Instead, they transform it into a vehicle for improvisation and virtuosity, allowing their musicians to demonstrate their individual skills. The wind solos, in particular, are remarkable, exhibiting a combination of technical precision and emotional expressiveness. Peter Delaev, in turn, offers an energetic and inventive drumming performance, filling the spaces with complex rhythms and irresistible grooves. EKSEPTION's version of Dharma for One is a tribute to Jethro Tull, but also an affirmation of the group's own identity. The complexity increases in Ritual Fire Dance, a piece that explores more intricate textures with intense brass work, jazzy passages, and a solid and melodic bass line executed by Cordeca. Ritual Fire Dance, taken from Manuel de Falla's El Amor Bruro, demonstrates EKSEPTION's ability to handle more challenging musical material. The original piece, with its somber atmosphere and intense rhythmic energy, is fertile ground for experimentation. EKSEPTION takes full advantage of this opportunity, creating a version that is both faithful to the spirit of the original composition and deeply innovative. The brass work, in particular, is exceptional, creating dense and complex textures that evoke the mystical and mysterious atmosphere of the piece. The jazzy passages, in turn, add a sense of improvisation and spontaneity, while Cordeca's bass line provides a solid and melodic foundation for the music. The tribute to George Gershwin with Rhapsody in Blue is one of the album's highlights. EKSEPTION's version captures the essence of the original composition while infusing it with a sense of improvisation and swing characteristic of jazz. The brass, once again, take the lead, conducting the music with energy and precision. The choice of Rhapsody in Blue demonstrates EKSEPTION's musical range. Gershwin, one of the greatest American composers, combined elements of classical music, jazz, and blues to create a unique and distinctly American sound. Exception embraces this diversity, creating a version of Rhapsody in Blue that is both faithful to the spirit of the original composition and deeply influenced by jazz. The Brass, with their technical precision and emotional expressiveness, play a fundamental role in Exception's interpretation, capturing the energy and vibrant rhythm of the piece. Canvas, the track that closes the album, is a showcase of the individual talent of each band member. The introduction with flutes evokes the style of Ian Anderson, Jethro Tull, while Rick van der Linden's keyboard weaves complex and engaging melodies. The Brass stand out again, and Peter Deluve finishes the music with a visceral and passionate drumming performance. Canvas is an original composition that allows Exception to express its own musical identity. The piece is an eclectic mix of styles and influences, from the pastoral flute that evokes Jethro Tull to the virtuoso keyboard of Rick van der Linden and the energetic drumming of Peter Deluve. The Brass once again play a fundamental role, creating rich and complex textures that unite the different elements of the music. Canvas is an appropriate conclusion to the album, demonstrating Exception's ability to create original music that is both ambitious and accessible. The original lineup of Exception included Rein van den Broek trumpet, flugelhorn, Huib van Kampen, alto saxophone, flute, Hans Janssen keyboards, Kordecker bass, and Peter de Levy drums. Throughout its trajectory, the group underwent several lineup changes, with some members contributing to the rich tapestry of Dutch progressive rock. Each of these musicians contributed uniquely to Exception's sound. Rein van den Broek, with his expressive trumpet and flugelhorn, brought elegance and sophistication to the group's sound. Huib van Kampen, with his versatile alto saxophone and flute, added a layer of improvisation and spontaneity. Hans Janssen, with his inventive keyboards, provided the harmonic foundation for Exception's music. Kordecker, with his solid and melodic bass, anchored the group's sound. And Peter Deluve, with his energetic and inventive drumming, propelled Exception's music forward. After releasing several successful albums, Rick van der Linden left Exception in 1973 to form Trace, a project that further explored the possibilities of the fusion between classical music and progressive rock. Van der Linden would return to Exception in 1978, recording new works with the group until the end of the 80s. Van der Linden's departure from Exception marked a significant change in the group's musical direction. Although Exception continued to record and perform after Van der Linden's departure, the group's sound was never the same. Trace, on the other hand, allowed van der Linden to explore his musical ideas without the restrictions imposed by Exception's format. Trace incorporated synthesizers more prominently, and their compositions were more intricate and ambitious. It is important to emphasize that, although both projects involved the fusion of classical and rock elements, Trace's sound was more aligned with symphonic progressive rock, while Exception, particularly on their debut album, presented a more jazz-focused approach with creative and humorous arrangements. The distinction between Exception and Trace is fundamental to understanding Rick van der Linden's musical evolution. Exception, with its jazzy approach and refined sense of humor, represented an early phase in his career. Trace, with its complex compositions and symphonic sound, represented a later phase in his career, in which van der Linden explored the possibilities of classical music and progressive rock in greater depth. Exception's first album is often cited as one of the best works of Dutch rock, a testament to the group's originality, musicality, and ability to challenge the musical conventions of the time. By combining the grandeur of classical music with the freedom of jazz and the energy of rock, Exception created a unique and timeless sound that continues to inspire and enchant listeners around the world. This album is not only a fusion of genres but a celebration of creativity and musical experimentation. Exception's impact on the Dutch and international music scene cannot be understated. The group paved the way for other bands seeking to combine elements of classical music and rock, and their sound has influenced generations of musicians. Exception's first album remains a classic, a testament to music's ability to transcend genre barriers and unite different cultures. The joy and energy emanating from this record are contagious, ensuring that it will continue to be appreciated for many years. The legacy of Exception lies not only in their musical innovation, but also in their ability to bring joy and inspiration to their listeners. The combination of skillful technique, inventive arrangements, and a contagious passion for music makes this album a truly unforgettable experience. Exception proved that classical music didn't need to be untouchable, and that rock could be more than just rebellion. They found common ground between these two seemingly distinct worlds, creating something new and exciting that still resonates today. The influence of Exception can be felt in countless bands that have followed in their footsteps, exploring the boundaries between different musical genres. They opened the doors to a new form of musical expression, and their legacy lives on in the music of today. Exception's first album is a rare gem that deserves to be discovered and appreciated by all music lovers. It is a testament to human creativity and the ability of music to transport us to other worlds. It is an album that will continue to inspire and delight for many years to come.